Hi, you've tuned into Gila, Nehemia, Sacred Erotic, Poetry, Sacred Sexuality, and Ascension. I'm so happy to be here. It's the 30th of October. It's a Saturday, and just feeling excited to be alive. I wanted to share it with you. So before we go any further and we talk about this week's episode, I'd like you to take 3 deep breaths with me. So let's breathe in together. I'd like you to hold for 3 when you breathe in, and then let go for 3, and just really feel that release of tension. So take it from your diaphragm all the way up to your upper chakra. So let's go now. Now we'll say an intention. You can say one to yourselves as I say one for all of us. I'm calling in our guides, our angels, our ancestors, God, Source, Universe, the trees, the roots, Mother Earth, the core of Gaia, our friends in different galaxies, calling ourselves home to wherever we feel like we have come from, deep, deep within our souls, calling ourselves back into the luminous stardust and star families that we are from and that we associate ourselves with. Whew. Feel that, relax into that. Let's connect our hearts and our souls together right now into this etheric field. Aho, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So today I'm going to be focusing on desire. One, it's before the new moon, which is in Scorpio, which is on November 4th. And also, if you've been following my self-affirmations, today, Saturday, November 4th, I'll be talking about desire. And it's really the crux of my work. I was actually surprised I never actually spoke about desire per se. I started my business on pleasure 4 years ago, and I focused on pleasure in both personally and with others or another person, depending on your preference. And desire goes deeper than sexuality, goes deeper than, maybe, you have a desire to eat a certain food, or you have a desire to do well in your life, or career-wise. Desire comes from deep in your soul. And it's known, it's Florence Scovel talks about it. And desire comes from the divine. If you have a desire to do something and you feel that you're feeling unsettled about it, or you're feeling that like this is just not it, I'm encouraging you to follow that desire. That's actually how I personally started my journey. Why, you might say, why do I do erotic poetry? If you're just tuning in today, or you still might have that question. That's how I started. I started by following my erotic desires. It did come from a sexual orientation, though what I did find by doing that was it opened up a whole world that, whoa, if I can have this satisfied and it can, transmute into spirituality and higher consciousness, what else can I do? What else is really there for me? And that's actually how my journey started. And I'm feeling like, because this new moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio is very emotional, very passionate. You might be feeling like you have these heightened emotions right now, and you're beginning to, and you're like, what's next? Like maybe you're in an amazing relationship and you want to take it to the next level, like, explore with your partner or your partners, depending on your orientation and your preference, and just feel into what's yummy. It could be yummy making new foods. It could be yummy starting a new job. It could be yummy, exploring the heights of your consciousness. All of these things can be yummy. If it just feels yummy, it just feels, yeah, like this feels good. Because when we are, going back to pleasure, when we feel pleasurable, we are releasing chemicals in our brain. We're releasing dopamine. I had a friend over yesterday, and we were talking about breastfeeding, and I used to breastfeed my children. I used to nurse them, and there's just a beautiful synergy that happens when you're nursing. It's just like you feel this peace, even if it's like afterwards they're crying. Like there's those moments where just like, whoa, this is all magical. I get to really feed my baby. My body works in wondrous ways. That element of wonder, I feel, really meshes beautifully with desire. When you have a desire, when you're fulfilling a desire, you're going after a desire, as it's being fulfilled, as you're taking the steps towards that, it's like wondrous. It's like, wow, this can actually happen. And I actually did feel that way, 4 years ago, as I was stepping into a new relationship with a person and a new relationship with myself and God. I was just like, wow, this can actually happen. And I had been dreaming about it for years, and I never gave myself permission to do it. That's why a lot of times I talk about permission, because sometimes you can dream about something and have a desire and never act upon it because we feel it's out of our reach. We feel limited, or we feel like, oh, we don't want to rock the boat. Like let's say you're in a relationship and it's not really serving you, but you don't really want to change it because there's something really comforting about that. I get it. I totally get it. There's something really, really nice about being in a comfortable place, yet it could also feel stifling. Or, it may not feel stifling, but it feels like you're not growing enough, not at the speed that you want. Just even having a conversation about it and not just ruminating in your mind can actually, switch your whole relationship up. It could be that your partner wants to explore different things with you too, but until you voice it, you're not going to know. And also because of the full moon in Aries, you may have been releasing a lot. It could be releasing old identities, old versions of yourself, old thought patterns, old limiting beliefs, as I've been going on in the self-affirmations, and we're almost over. We have 7 more days. So I'm encouraging you to continue to release, to be bold and courageous, and to go after your desires, go after your passion, wherever that lies. Because, passion is about creative life force energy. Passion is about creativity. Passion is about creation. Passion is about fire. Passion is about that smoldering in your loins. And I know that there's a lot of sexual connotations to what I'm saying, though that energy can be transmuted into so much. Like inventors have passion. They're like relentless, in a good way. They're determined. I'm determined to see my business grow, and it has been growing, and my visions are coming true. I recently have been contracted to do some work, and that's been like amazing for me. And it's really just opening up my business in ways that I've always wanted. And that was a desire. That was a sincere desire. And when you have sincere desires, meaning they're coming from a good place, like a place of kindness, a place of compassion, a place of openness, a place of service, a place of connection into the universal life force energy, or infinite oneness, or unity consciousness. And I'm not saying it's only those things, but when we're open to giving and receiving, any business, I feel, when the crux of it, whether you agree with, this practice or that practice, if the crux of that business is in service, it will always succeed. And so if you're thinking about a new venture, if the crux of what you're desiring to do is to the betterment of yourself and others, I feel like it's a done deal. Like it's done, and it's just allowing yourself, permitting yourself to take the next step. Even if it's your own personal life and you're just desiring more happiness. I mean, of course, because when you're happy, you're going to do things that are beneficial to yourself and others. It's just, it's law. And I feel like that's really switched it up in my mind, when I realize it's law. It's law. When I feel good, I extend my goodness to others. That's just the law. It's a spiritual law, giving and receiving. It's a spiritual law that when you think good thoughts, that you're going to manifest them. It's spiritual law that when you permit yourself to be powerful and you tap into your divinity, you're going to just expand into the fullness of who you are. That's just the law. And I've actually, started to look into what are more spiritual laws, because it's really fascinating to me that, these are just energy. There's nobody had set it down in stone. Nobody wrote it down and said, this is the way it is, like the 10 Commandments. Okay, you serve, you honor your father and your mother, and these things like are actually, just like intrinsically as a person, you just want to be good, you want to be loving. And I know many of us have had challenging lives and challenging situations. We're all warriors in our own lives. And as we just accept that everyone wants to be loved, everybody desires love, everyone's like connects to loving kindness. And the more that you can connect to your own loving kindness, that's what you're going to get in return. And it's not a matter of being selfish and saying, okay, how do I get this? It's more a matter of embodying your desire. Going back into desire. How do we embody our desires? We become them. We are at one with them. We accept them. We allow the universe to help us to co-create them. I want to read a poem from my poetry book, Surreal Love, Kundalini Awakening Poetry, and it's called Desire. Smoldering coals stirring, moist with so much longing, hard to contain myself. On another planet, the wild goddess rising from the depths. Hair out, arms open, head swirling, eyes steady, ready for action. Feeling complete and utter abandon. Opening, receiving all the offerings. Taking it all in my hands, loving it without question. Desiring to be playful like a child running out in nature. So much in my heart, ultimate surrender. Trusting the unknown, succumbing, going all the way wherever that ethereal path leads. So exciting, moving higher to another realm. And that's beautiful. I actually just, I picked it out before I started because I was like, desire, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. And without fully being conscious of it, I've talked about some of the things that I mentioned, that wonder like a child, the surrender, trusting the unknown, not knowing exactly what the steps are. This has been a large part of what I talk about in most of my episodes. Because when we can trust the unknown, we're tapping into our own psychic powers. And one of my group members said this the other day, and I was just like, yes, she's like, what I get out of the group is that I really feel connected to my own psychic powers. You know how to do that. And I really feel that, like every client I have, whether it's personal mentoring, group mentoring, wherever I am with someone, I always ask them, how do they feel? What is the what does it feel like to do this? And when you can tap into that, is this a desire? Is this not a desire? Is it feel good for you? There are a lot of levels to desire, and sometimes it seems far because we can't imagine ourselves there. And this is also an important technique, that when you can actually imagine yourself, visualize yourself, going back also into self-affirmations, when you say it, because it's a desire, right? We desire, let's say we desire to lose weight, or we desire to be more financially abundant. It's a desire. Self-affirmations actually really connect into desire. And when we can visualize ourselves there, really take ourselves to that place that we're desiring, and accept that we can have that it can be a part of our existence, and that can be cool, like that can be amazing, that can be wondrous, that can be an exciting adventure. The energy that you're vibrating at that moment is tremendous. It's like, I'm embodying this desire. I feel this desire. I have this desire. It's manifesting already. And I used to get really stuck in this really before, because I was like, how do I do that? How do I like really imagine myself there if I'm not there? Then we're stuck in duality. Then we're actually going back. Yes, we're going back into duality. We're like, I don't really have that. How can I imagine it? So you can imagine anything. This is part of miracle consciousness. You can create anything at any time. And when you permit yourself to do that, you are creating a different timeline for yourself. You're creating a different pathway. You're creating, your connection into the divine even deeper, in trusting your intuition even further. You're going to the unstoppable space that exists. Because, we are, right? We're limitless. We can do anything. And so if you're feeling like, yeah, how do I do that? Or what is my next step? If this is resonating with you, like, yeah, schedule a call with me, or go to my website, or, like, dream about something that you like. I am offering a new moon meditation, which is a visualization, which is just what I described, so if this is resonating with you, I'll put it in the links and the details below. Like, schedule the time. It's on Thursday at 7 p.m. Israel time, and you can find out what's going on in your time zone. So this is just powerful stuff, because when we can, I used to feel like sometimes I can't have something because I don't deserve it. Or sometimes maybe it's not really meant for me, and I'm just like making it up, maybe I'm living in an illusion. And I realize that if I can feel it in my body, it's true. So that's why I really connect into body wisdom and connect into heart, because that helps me to ground it, helps me to say, okay, yeah, this, maybe I am a witch. I was walking around with a broom the other day, and I was like, yeah, this feels good. But laughter aside, like, this is true. Maybe I was a witch. Maybe I am a witch. Maybe I can do anything. So let me tap into that. Let me tap into that magic. Let me tap into, feeling really yummy in my desire, and knowing I can have it, and allowing it to unfold and manifest in its own space. Because if I am a spiritual being living a human experience, I already know all the spiritual laws. I am, remembering. I'm awakening up into my power. And my power, for me, the way I tap into it is desire. It's desire. Everyone might have a different way, though I feel like desire is all encompassing. And it's not like, because it's tricky, like when you say, I want this, you're saying, you might be thinking, I don't have it and I want it. Though, what if you say, I desire this because I know that I'm supposed to be receiving this? It's a different energy, and it's like this, it's happening, it's done. it's coming into my existence. And thank you for, thank you God, thank you universe, thank you higher self for allowing me to have that thought. And when we can think that way, when we can live our lives that way, it's more of like, okay, when, it's coming. I know it's coming. I allow it to come in its own time, in divine timing. And that timing can be in one more second. That timing could be maybe in another month. That timing can be whatever it is. Though you're going to see that events are going to be fortifying your desire. It's just going to happen that way because you're in full belief that it is going to happen. It's like, I knew I was going to have children. I just knew that, it wasn't really a question. I didn't know who was going to be with. I didn't know what they were going to look like, but I knew I was going to have children. I knew I was going to start a business, that actually came really quick. I had an idea. It happened within a few months. But I had been preparing for that for many years, thinking I wanted to be a freelancer. So I was looking into freelancing for many years and didn't really know how it would come through. And then I kind of forgot about it, and then it just happened. But it actually didn't just happen. It's like these overnight things that happen. You're like, it just happened. Did it? I mean, it's just a question in my mind. Did it really just happen? There probably was a thought. There probably was a desire. And it was filed away. Just like for me, when I was 8, when I was, really young, I had this really deep desire to be in a totally loving, passionate, vulnerable relationship with a person and with God. And that unfolded for me. That's continuing to unfold for me, and it's continuing to raise my consciousness, though it started with a desire. And for me, it started with my sexuality. It started with like moving that energy because it's so powerful. It's so, so powerful. And to tap into that kind of eroticism, that kind of like depth of emotion and depth of like this never-ending flow of passion, that's incredible, and I know, like Mozart, for example, I know he tapped into that, and that was what made him flourish, and it brought a lot of highs and lows too, though I feel like we're now in an energy where we can sustain that. We can work with it and we can sustain that kind of sexual energy because we are, as a society, so many of us spread across the planet and in the ethers and in other galaxies are being supported to walk on this path, this artistic path, this healing path of open desire and passion as a transmutation into spirituality, into miracle consciousness, into manifestation, into the service of humanity and healing the earth. So, and it began with a desire. It begins with a seed. No plants grow without a seed. So when we have a thought, it's actually a seed. And when you allow that thought to take the next step, you're going to see a manifestation occur. And you may or may not have the full vision, though taking each step is actually part of the process, and you're not going to actually know what each step is, because that's part of the wonder, the childlike wonder. So I'm encouraging you to take that next step, and if you're not sure what that next step is, write down some things that you would like to see happen in your life, and that you can have them. So just be clear. Like, this is my desire, or this is my desires. These are my desires. And allow yourself to hone them, work with them. And, putting it down on paper, even if you forget about it, or you just write it in your phone and you leave it and you let it go, you're going to see that those things are all going to manifest without much further thought. Like, you focused, you put your energy there, and you're allowing the universe to co-create that with you. And sometimes we need to walk away from something in order for it to happen. That's the part of the letting go and surrendering. So we need to trust it's happening. We need to surrender to the divine or to our higher selves to say, okay, yeah, it's happening. I'm not going to control it. I know that it is. I trust, and, and it will. It will, without a doubt. So this is the other part, like when we have any kind of doubt, then we are, there's resistance. There's like, oh, I can't have that. Oh, it's too big for me. Oh, who do I think I am? That deep, deep inner critic that keeps us back. And what I have been noticing with these self-affirmations that I've been doing, and I have a lot of visions of and dreams of where I'm going to go with my business, and the people I'm going to help, and what I want to do with my books. And I know they're happening, and I know that whatever steps I'm taking now are important to make that happen, because part of also this is self-confidence. Like when you're confident that this is going to happen for you, like nothing's really a risk, because okay, I have to do XYZ. All right, no problem. I'm going to do that. I know I'm going to have, blah, blah, or this just feels good. So I'm going to just do, I'm just going to ride that bike today, for 10 days. Or I'm going to sit out in the sun because this feels good. And I know that the sun nourishes my soul. And I've been really looking for the sun to nourish my soul. That could be an immediate desire, though in the long run, you're connecting into that masculine energy that you might need, in order to move forward. And that the slowdown is that this absorption of the central sun and its energy and its properties, so that you can move forward in your life. So if you're in a wintry place and you're needing some sunlight, maybe you take a trip into a warm place, to kind of get that energy, or you take some time to just relax and feel warm. Sometimes we just feel warm in our hearts, it's enough. And sometimes we need the physical sun. So, tap into what do you need? What do you need, and what are you desiring? And I feel like desire is a much bigger vision. It's a much more fantastic. And it doesn't have to be, but sometimes it can be. And the more fantastic, the better, because then we're really growing and we're pushing ourselves energetically, like if you think about a plant and just how it pushes through the earth to grow up, to the light. I mean, it's an amazing feat. It's an amazing miracle. It's force. And we each have that force in us as our thoughts become things. And so don't hold back. Like, just every day you can write things down and be like, yeah, I want, this is what I'm desiring. This is what I'm desiring. And the more that we focus on a specific desire, it happens. Though the list can be long and it can happen throughout your life. As we can stay young by just desiring stuff. And again, it's not about saying you don't have. It's not about a place of lack. It's a place of abundance. It's a place of divine power. It's a place of connecting to your soul. So what did I do in this episode? I kind of redefined desire. I also invited you to tap into desire. I shared a poem with you about how it could also be like childlike wonder and really yummy and sexy when you step into desire. And it helps you to manifest and serve humanity and serve yourself and serve the planet. So, and it's part of the new moon in Scorpio energy of tapping into more passion. So if you're desiring to really ground this kind of passionate energy, I'm inviting you to my new moon in Scorpio live Zoom event. You can join live 7 p.m. Israel time and check your own time zones. If you cannot attend, you can get the replay, which is also very, very powerful. Everyone's really liked it. I haven't updated the testimonials, but it's been very powerful, really beautiful, very, because I take you through a lot of deep, deep visualization meditations, and I, just tap into the energy. And so whatever's necessary at that time, that's what comes through. So I use quantum healing to help you to kind of break through any kind of stuckness that may be still in your auric field or any limited thinking. And if you're resonating with me, schedule a call or go to my website. I am enrolling now at gilanehemia.com for my group and personal mentoring programs. And if you'd like to send me feedback, please send me an email at gila@gilanehemia.com. And if you haven't heard, my mission is to dispel limiting beliefs, especially for women who've experienced chronic trauma and anyone else who's really resonating with my message. Because I feel like this is actually the point where we are not able to move to the next step because we're still stuck in our limited beliefs. We're still repeating patterns in our mind that aren't serving us and that are affecting our bodies, creating disease, creating, situations in our life that are challenging. It all stems from our thoughts, our feelings, our ways of being, our patterns. And the more that we can get to the core of the issue, I know everyone who works with me breaks through. And I say that with full confidence because I'm committed to this. Whether you're in a challenging situation with a partner, you're experiencing intimacy violence, or you're experiencing, you've moved from that and you're still experiencing challenging relationships or challenging work situations, or just challenging situations with yourself, connect with me. I'm here to assist you. We are here together. We rise together. We dispel limiting beliefs together. Tap into my self-affirmations. They're very powerful. They're only going to be up for another week after I finish. And after that, they're going to be, most of them will be private. 7 of them will stay up because this is groundbreaking and I'm going to be doing some more work with that. So definitely connect with me if you need more information. We are here to change the paradigm of the universe, change humanity, but it begins with us. Change begins within. The universe, the kingdom of heaven is within, as I quote Jesus Christ. So those of you who are starseeds or into Christ consciousness, that's where it's with your consciousness, with your mind, with your intuition. That's how you change the world and you change your life. Thank you so much for listening. Namaste, Shanti, Shalom.